All right, SMU obviously is playing extremely well right now. Really put you in some tough situations on the defensive end. They got veteran guys, and so those guys, can play multiple positions. And they hit 8 threes, and 5 of the 8 are from their starting 4-man and their 5-man. So got exposed a little bit there in terms of being able to guard on the perimeter from those spots. They've moved Vandermill from the 3 to the 4, and Weathers, number 50, Marcus, from the 4 to the 5. And they just, with as dynamic a guard as Kendrick Davis is, kind of put you in the mixer a little bit defensively. I thought middle of the second half, or middle of the first half when we went zone, we were effective, cut the lead to 3 to 5, and then just had some empty possessions there. Last 2 minutes of the first half, last 3 minutes of the first half, first 2 minutes of the second half, kind of was the difference in the game. Take away those 5 minutes, and now you're in striking distance. But we weren't able to do that. They're explosive offensively. When you make a mistake, they're able to, capitalize on it. Got those guys back. Hopefully they'll get their legs underneath them a little bit more than we had tonight and try to bounce back on Saturday against a tough opponent on the road.
Coach, Javon and Sam were in here a little while ago. I asked them about rust. They wouldn't use that as an excuse. What I didn't ask them was how difficult was it when they got tired, had to come out? How difficult was it for them to rebound and get back in? Was that an issue?
I think that's it. When you empty the tank a little bit or get close to empty, I think the biggest challenge after being out 5 or 6 days is refueling, how long it takes you to kind of refuel. And I thought that was the biggest issue for us. I thought, Javon looked pretty good, and then all of a sudden kind of hit the wall in the middle of the first half. And then he did it again earlier in the second half, But again, as we talked to him, we can, legitimate, but we got to get past that. It is what it is, as the guys say, and we need to understand that obviously Jalen, Javon, Jake, Jameer, Sorrell have either had 1 or 2 practices since the more or less the day after the Central Florida game. So it's been a little bit of a challenge, but hopefully now we'll be able to get back on the practice court. And I said earlier that the top 2 teams in the league are Houston and SMU. Obviously, we've played 6 conference games. We played them 4 times. You know what I mean? So we've had a pretty tough early start with some of the cancellations that we've had. But we have to play better. We didn't play well enough for a long enough period of time to play against a team of their caliber.
SMU's secondary break seemed to give you some trouble tonight. Was that a communications issue on the court?
Yeah, we really emphasized our transition defense due to the fact that kind of what broke the game open in game 1. And I thought our initial coverage, other than if it was not off a turnover, was pretty good. But they only have them for 10 fast break points. But as you said, there was some secondary action where there was a lack of communication, either in getting back to the man or bumping the big. Our guards got to get back, and they send a big to the front of the rim. So now when that guard is holding him, when the big gets back, we got to bump out. And there was one play where Russ hit the floor, was on the floor. That was a big play because we had Javon just put the ball back in the basket. I think we had cut it to maybe 5 at that time. They came down. There was just a lack of communication underneath the basket. And Young got the dunk on that play. So those are things that we got to tighten up.
Are you guys going to be shooting extra free throws tomorrow? I'm sure 4-14 is not what you want to see on any given night.
No, and for me, a little bit of lack of concentration. I think again, I always look at we're shooting 70% from the free throw line as a team, and that's what you expect now, for us to do that. In the last couple games, we've shot the ball well from the free throw line. So a little bit of focus right there, you know what I mean? And I think that's something that will be addressed for sure.
Coach, we can sit here and talk about shooting all night long, but you get no easy baskets off fast breaks, no easy baskets off turnovers. You earn every offensive point. That's pretty tough, isn't it?
Yeah. You know, we had 8 points off of turnovers, only 4 on the fast break. But when a team shoots 50%, you're taking the ball out of the net a lot. You know what I mean? And even though we try to push it on makes, you know, drop-offs to the bigs, we got to finish those plays. You know what I mean? Again, you can't fault effort when you get 16 offensive rebounds. You know what I mean? That means guys are playing hard and going to the glass and different things like that. And we were much better today, 18 second chance points on 16 offensive rebounds. So those are effort points that you got to give us credit for. But we got to get the fast break points, that's got to be in the 12 to 16 range. You know what I mean? And then when we get a couple of those shots around the rim, we need to finish those. Then you got to go 70% from the free throw line. Then you're looking at another 16, 18 points, and now you're, you know, in the 70s. And if we score in the 70s, we got a great chance to win the game.
Coach, a big man like Marcus Weathers, it's dynamic. How does he change maybe how you approach SMU?
Well, he's a tough matchup because a lot of times if you put your, you know, when he does slide to the 4, he can overpower the 4-man. You know what I mean? And when he slides to the 5, now he takes guys on the perimeter. He hit the first basket of the game or the second basket of the game on a 17-foot shot where we didn't challenge it enough. Then we just had bad awareness on the 3 that he hit because there's only 2 seconds left on the shot clock, so you got to push up into him at that point. You know, all he can really do is shoot a 3. But again, here's a guy who's played a lot of games. You know, a lot of games. And he's very, very effective. And he's done he's one of the best offensive rebounders in the league. And we put a smaller guy on him, and he just attacked the basket a couple times. You know, so he's a tough matchup. There's no doubt about it. Very difficult matchup.
Coach, you guys shot 39% from the field today, 25 from 3. And these are numbers that are very similar to your season-long clips, 38 and 25% for the season. It's 18 games into the season. What's not working on offense at this point? Because it's not so much a slump for a few games at this point. It seems like it's par for the course.
Well, we're not shooting the ball well. You know what I mean? You got to make shots. It's a make or miss game. You got to make shots. So when open shots show, you got to be able to put those shots in. I thought at times we had some. Like I said, I thought we had some good looks. You got to be able to put some of those in. You know what I mean? I thought if you take a look, I think, you know, Murphy goes 7 for 16, had multiple pull-ups. That he's 50% shooter. Javon 2 for 7 from the 3, had a couple good looks on that. And you know, some other guys that have shot the ball. They gotta make some shots. We have to make some shots.
Coach, I know it's right after the game and that, but what's the one thing on offense, one thing on defense you need to work on for the next game?
So, I mean, and it's not just maybe for the next game, but as the last question, we need to, you can't just get, and you don't shoot the ball well, so it's hard to get assists. We need to play off each other's drives and the action a little bit better. So we need to move without the ball a little bit better. When we drive the ball, we get the ball in the paint, we got to move, all right? And the spacing has to be a little better, which will create some more open shots, all right? Now you get, in turn, as I just answered, you got to turn around and make some of those shots as well. Again, you can review the film, and it's not like we're taking terrible shots. You know what I mean? I mean, you go through a game, and you guys watch it. How many times you say, "Man, that's a bad shot"? You know what I mean? It's not very often. So we got to keep getting better at creating some easier shots, some better shots, maybe just a sliver more open by moving a little bit more. And then defensively, again, you know, the numbers only say 10, but we can't give up drives to the basket and transition points, you know. They hurt us from the 3 in the first game. We hold them to 30% from the 3 this game. Is that right? 30%. So we did a little better job in terms of that, but they were able to get to the basket a little more. You know what I mean? So we gotta get some defensive stops where we're getting them out of the paint. So guarding the basketball and our transition defense are the 2 biggest things right now. Because there are points in the paint, nothing. 1 or 2 of those are post moves. The rest are drives to the basket.
Obviously, you know, having guys in and out of, you know, not just games but practices, and having a, you know, game here, game there, postponed. I know it's not like last year where you had a month-long COVID break, but is there any comparisons that you could draw from this year to last year to kind of guys being out and having to get their feet back under them and things like that?
Well, obviously they were out for a longer period of time last year.
Right.
But again, there's the uncertainty and then the change in the routine. So last week, you know, we went 3 days, couldn't practice. We didn't have enough guys to practice, and we didn't want everybody together in the gym at the same time. So we had to split it up and just go individual skill work and different things like that. You know, the biggest thing is to get back in rhythm. You know what I mean? To get back in rhythm, because other than the 5-minute stretch in the first game against SMU, you turn around 3 days later and you play extremely well against Central Florida. You know what I mean? And then you play the number 10 team in the country down multiple guys. Didn't play as well in the first half, but played very well in the second half against them. So now you just got to get back into the rhythm of the practice, the extra shooting, the extra work, the film, the preparation, and the games.
Good crowd tonight, especially the students. Any
Yeah, I
comment
mean,
on that?
obviously, you know, the last 2 home games have been great when it comes to the attendance in the crowd and different things like that. And now it's up to us. We got to play better. We got to play better.